Thomas is a tank engine who lives at a big station on the island of Sodor.
This is Ringo Starr. No, not the blue thing. The guy talking about the blue thing. For many kids, this was their introduction to him, myself included. I grew up with this guy and Thomas and Friends. Many of us did. This was their life. But around 2007, I decided to expand and experience not Ringo Starr the actor, but Ringo Starr the musician. You could say it's the other side of him.
The other side.
Ha! Musical joke. Clever. I could go over many songs I watched back in the early days, and the many songs I've listened to in recent years. But I'm not here to talk about that. Today, we're going to be looking at this DVD, Ringo Starr and his new all-star band. I'm a musician at heart, so this area of my life needs to be acknowledged. Everyone remembers the first gig they ever went to, and so do I. I remember both the first gig and the first video or DVD I owned. This DVD chronicles the 2001 All-Star Band featuring Ringo, Greg Lake, Supertramp's Roger Hodgson, Howard Jones, Ian Hunter and Sheila E., and it does so rather fantastically. There are 19 songs in all, running a total of 80 minutes altogether. I should also mention that the entire show runs approximately 2 hours, so 7 songs, an extra 20 minutes have been cut, which is rather disappointing. You're excited to receive a concert DVD and you find out it's been butchered. That will disappoint anyone. You want it all uncut and included. Thankfully, the most recent DVDs have kept that trend. Every song will be included, every musical moment captured. With this DVD, however, that's not the case. Essentially, it's a highlights package, and a randomised one at that. From the third song until the last 2, the set list is pretty much shuffled, and it can be a bit bizarre to see Ringo suddenly change outfits in a matter of seconds. This gimmick is unnecessary and would only get worse with the 2003 All-Star Band.
In a town where I was born.
I should also mention that this tour has one of the worst versions of Yellow Submarine I have ever heard, which would also only get worse with 2003. When I first bought this DVD 10 years ago, I rather liked it, but as time went on and I heard other versions of the song, it really didn't hold up that well. It still doesn't. I'm really not fond of this version. Those are the 2 major flaws in my eyes. There's also a minor problem where the editing team really seemed to favour Roger Hodgson over Sheila E. and Greg Lake. Each All-Star member has 3 songs of their own in this tour. On both the DVD and CD releases, Roger retains all 3 songs. Ian and Howard both have 2, and Greg and Sheila only receive 1, meaning Greg's other 2 songs, Court of the Crimson King and Carnival 9, get cut. It is rather disappointing, but to be fair, Carnival 9 and Sheila's cut song A Love Bizarre were released on the album extended versions, so it's not super terrible. Actually, between this DVD release and extended versions, there's only ever 3 songs in the entire tour that don't get represented at all, so it's not the worst thing in the world. At the same time, it just brings up the point that this DVD should not have been a highlights package. You have to own 2 releases to have the near complete experience, and even then, it's still incomplete. Other than that, it's a fantastic watch, even with Greg and Sheila only getting 1 song each. I used to dislike Greg's only song, Lucky Man, but as time went on, it really did grow on me. It's still his worst song in the set list, but I've actually grown to appreciate it more in recent years. Other than Greg, the band really works well. Cleveland Rocks is a fantastic example of how well the band works together. Then there's Give a Little Bit. Not a single viewing goes by where I don't smile at the sight of Ringo playing percussion alongside Roger. I should also acknowledge Back Off Boogaloo.
Okay, special request from Roger, we're going to do Back Off Boogaloo.
This was the song that brought out the musician in me. I watched that for the first time and I felt a strong desire to play along. This was the song that made me want to be a drummer. And as a result, I regard this song very highly. Currently, this is my favourite Ringo Starr song of all time, and I hope it will remain so for many years to come. I could go on and on about every single song, but we'll be here for a week. It may have one of the worst versions of Yellow Submarine, but it has one of the greatest versions of Photograph and the absolute best versions of You're 16 and Don't Go Where the Road Don't Go that I have ever heard. It may be a butchered highlights package, but it's a butchered highlights package I hold dear.
Thank you.